listening to the Fours Up Podcast with your host, Marsh.
Give it to me. Give it to me again. Give it to me again. Again. We got him. We got him. ROMELLO Brinson is a Miami Hurricane. Talk to me, Jordan. How are we feeling?
Dude, we're hyped, man. We're hyped. I've drank like 6 Mountain Dews in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah. Holy hell. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's official. ROMELLO Brinson, 4-star receiver out of Miami Northwestern, has just verbally recommitted to the Miami Hurricanes. One of the best receivers, not only in the state of Florida, but also in the entire country. 43 catches last year, 834 yards, 8 touchdowns, and he helped Miami Northwestern win that state championship last year. I'm going to let you talk for a few seconds because I have to catch my breath.
Yeah, man, we're hyped. I mean, I was watching Brinson's film the other day, and dude, he's long, he's rangy, 6'2", 180 pounds. He's quick. I'd say he's quicker than he is fast. But his ball skills are elite for a high school guy. I've said this many times. I'm not like I don't consider myself like a guru at scouting or recruiting. But that's my take on it. So yeah. I'm pretty friggin' excited. And then, do you want to say what you were telling me before we started recording? That's potential other good recruiting news, or are we going to keep that in house?
No, I mean let's talk about it. So Khalil Brantley, the tight end that is committed to Miami, he was doing an Instagram live video. He was there at Brinson's commitment party. The entire community was there, so that was pretty cool. But one of the guys that hopped on the Instagram live was our boy, the golden child, Jake Garcia.
Yeah.
Whew! And he was chatting it up, and I saw that, and I was freaking.
Yeah, dude, he's coming. He's freaking coming.
Dude, I really think he is. And I'm not joking. I really think he is.
Yeah, I've just kind of had a feeling about him almost the whole time. That admittedly, after he committed to USC, and then we were, courting other guys. But he just always felt like a Cane. And then as soon as they started to show interest in Miller Moss, I don't know. I've just always kind of felt like he'd be a Cane.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we got a couple guests coming on. The first one is Kevin Fiedler. Is he ready to come on?
Yeah, he is. Let me patch him in.
All right.
Kevin, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. Welcome back on the show.
What's going on, little bro?
Marsh, how we doing today? How we feeling?
We're hyped!
We are. I've never been more excited. I have never been more excited.
Bro, was that not I feel like I was waiting for I feel like today has dragged on for years. That was insane.
I think this was the most excited I've been for a recruit in a while. And so every 2 seconds I was like, okay, we are 3 hours, 46 minutes, and 26 seconds away from ROMELLO Brinson committing. And then it took another 30 minutes on top of that. So the reward at the end felt so much better than it should have.
Absolutely. And that's funny you bring up, this is the most excited you've been for a recruit in a while, because I feel like that's how a lot of people are about ROMELLO Brinson. Why do you think that is?
I think the thing is, it's kind of twofold. The talent on the field is there. He's a deep threat wide receiver who's got the potential to be an all-conference, even potentially an all-American type player who can contribute almost day one for the Hurricanes. And it's the fact that he's from Miami. He's a Miami Northwestern kid, and for the most part, Miami has missed out on these kind of guys. 2 years ago, ROMELLO Brinson is probably at Georgia or at Texas A&M or somewhere else, and Miami missed out on another guy. And it seemed like for the first time in a while, we're finally excited because Miami got a local commit who has all the talent in the world, who's got everything you want out of a wide receiver, who's 6'2", 6'3", had 843 yards against Division I corners. Why aren't people excited? There is no reason you can't be excited for this move.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Where do you think, what I know you hit on it a little bit, but what do you like most about ROMELLO Brinson's game, and how do you think he'll fit into the Rhett Lashley offense?
I think the thing I like the most is his ball control, his body control, his ability to track the ball when it's in the air, because that's something you can't really teach a wide receiver. For the most part, you either have it or you don't, and ROMELLO Brinson has it. He obviously, he probably needs help with route running and kind of getting the proper releases, but that comes with experience, that comes with playing at a college football system. And I think for Likens and for Lashley and all these kind of guys, it's a outside wide receiver that you can develop into something more than what he is. And that's Miami doesn't have a ROMELLO Brinson. They've got a whole bunch of great wide receivers, Peyton, Warsham, you've got Wiggins, you've got Pope, you've got Harley. They don't have a player like ROMELLO Brinson who can change the game like a deep threat, who isn't, a speedster, but has insane ball control, is really tall, really physical. I mean, I'm just excited to see what happens with him, because I'm thinking about all the different ways you can fit a guy like him into a system, and you can go wild. And yeah. I mean, I love being wild. And when you can be wild with a wide receiver like ROMELLO Brinson, sign me up.
Yeah, so, I mean, tell us what this means for, like, Cameron Kinchens. And, I mean, is he the only other, I guess, big-time Northwestern recruit that we're going after, or is there another guy?
No, I think it's Kitchens is the last domino to fall. And, a lot of people speculated that if you got Brinson, you got Kinchens. And, I mean, I don't see why not. And you're talking about 5 Miami Northwestern kids coming to Miami. Yeah. 5 great, talented guys as well. Hammett, Brantley's going to be a really talented tight end. I think his rating on 247 Sports and all these other recruiting websites is so underrated. I think he's a 4-star talent. You have Tim Burns, then you add ROMELLO Brinson, and then you get Cam. I mean, that's 5 talented players who are going to make an impact for a long time, and it builds a trust level with a high school. And that's the most important thing, is when you have coaches that trust you and you have players that have trusted you in the past, it helps you really develop a pipeline there. And I mean, if you want to build a pipeline with a school in Miami, in South Florida, there aren't many better options than Miami Northwestern. There just aren't.
Yeah. Totally. And I don't know if you were on Instagram Live watching the videos, but Jake Garcia was on Khalil Brantley's video. He was chiming in and everything. Do you think, especially with Miller Moss committing to USC, do you think that there's any shot that we can flip Jake Garcia?
I mean, I think right now, I wouldn't be shocked if they did. I would not be shocked if in a month, in 2 months, we're talking about Jake Garcia in a Miami Hurricanes uniform. Now, do I know if it happens? No. There are going to be a lot of schools that are going to go after Jake Garcia if he decommits from USC. And there are going to be a lot of competition for a team like Miami to try and beat without having the winning on their back like some of these other schools do. But Manny Diaz and company just got ROMELLO Brinson. So they could do whatever they want. They could probably go into a room with Jake Garcia and get him to commit the same day, and I wouldn't be shocked. Because what Miami does is they get into the room with these guys and they let the pedigree do the talking. And if you can do it with Jake Garcia, sign me up, because 2022 sounds a lot more exciting with Jake Garcia and ROMELLO Brinson.
Yeah, man.
Chills.
I love Garcia as a prospect. I mean, I was tweeting about it last night. No disrespect to Miller Moss, but who Moss is an equally great prospect. But to me, it was never a competition between those two. I was always a Garcia guy.
Me too.
I don't really see why people would think Miller Moss is better, even though he's still good, right? I love Jake Garcia. I'd kill to have him in this recruiting class.
I think the reason why people think Miller Moss is better, and it's because they're really 1A, 1B. I mean, if you like one, you like one, and if you like the other, you like the other. They're both really talented players. But I love what Jake Garcia brings on the field. He's got all the timing you want out of a quarterback.
Yep.
Has the release. He is a very developed prospect, who, maybe he needs a redshirt year when he gets to Miami, if he gets to Miami. But you've got N'Kosi Perry, you've got Marsh's guy, Tate Martell, you've got Tyler Van Dyke, you've got options there, so you don't have to start him immediately. And you get Jake Garcia the time to develop as a quarterback. We're talking about a potential draft pick in the future, a potential All-American, a potential starter, big-time impact player, and what better to go into big-time games than a guy like that? I mean, I can't think of many guys. I really can't.
So last question for you, Kev. We don't want to keep you too long. How do you think? I mean, because obviously last year was an absolute train wreck for the Canes. How has Manny Diaz been able to just stay hot on this recruiting trail? I mean, because it's honestly blowing my mind that we keep getting all these kids considering what happened last year.
I think the biggest thing is the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, the shutdown of recruiting has helped them a lot, because a lot of these local guys, they know Miami. Miami's been on a lot of these Miami kids trails for 3 years, 2 years. They've been on them since they were sophomores, since they were freshmen. Hell, some of them since they were in middle school. So when you have the trust level with a lot of these coaches and a lot of these players, it's a lot easier to get commits. And, maybe it's just because Manny Diaz is a god. Maybe it's because Manny Diaz is the greatest recruiter Miami has had in 20 years. I don't know. Maybe there is something that we don't know that Miami, Manny Diaz, and Rhett Lashley is doing that is insane. But right now, I think a lot of it is this pandemic, this shutdown, has helped Miami get back in the room with some of these kids. Because who knows if ROMELLO Brinson commits if the shutdown doesn't happen and he's able to go visit Georgia and Texas A&M. Maybe we're talking about ROMELLO Brinson in Georgia Red today, and it's another missed Miami prospect. But I don't want to talk about these hypotheticals because, again, they got ROMELLO Brinson, and I don't know what else to tell you. This is the greatest day in probably about a year and a half to be a Miami Hurricanes fan, because there's been a lot of bad, and now there's a lot of good. Yeah. And there's no reason not to be excited for the future of the Miami Hurricanes, for the current time Miami Hurricanes, and more importantly, if you can keep recruiting like they did for ROMELLO Brinson, I don't want to say it, but maybe we're talking about Jake Garcia in Miami. And I mean, again, it gives me goosebumps. It gives me chills. And I get excited thinking about it. And if that's the case, sign me up. I don't know. I would kill to have him. I would kill to have him in Miami, Jake Garcia. I would kill to have Jake Garcia in Miami, because I'm just imagining the future of the Miami Hurricanes offense with Jake Garcia, with Jalen Knight, with ROMELLO Brinson, with Worsham, with all these talented players. And then you talk about the just like 16 tight ends that they'll have. I mean, yeah, sign me up.
Absolutely.
Where can I sign up for this? Because I'll love to.
I feel pretty good about that, honestly. I mean, like I said, I'm no recruiting expert. I don't have any inside info, but I've learned to kind of trust my gut with these things. I called both Quincy Roche and De'Aaron King to Miami the morning it happened, just off of a gut feeling, and I'm feeling really good about Jake Garcia. Like I'd bet $20 on him coming to Miami, honestly.
I think there's good reason to, because you mentioned Miller Moss commits there, and maybe then he's looking at other reasons as to where he can get an immediate starting job. And maybe Miami's offering him the chance to start immediately and not have to redshirt his freshman year. I don't know. That's a possibility. And if that's the case, then holy crap.
Absolutely.
Miami will be excited going into Alabama and then Michigan State and all these other Power 5 schools. And there's another reason why they can beat these kind of schools. Now, will they beat Alabama? That's a whole other conversation. We can talk about that year from now. But there's a lot of reason to be excited. And I think the biggest thing is get in the room with Jake Garcia. Get the possibility for him to come and get Khalil Brantley on him, because he seems to be the greatest recruiter that Miami has ever had. I mean,
I mean, that kid is like everything that you want in a leader and an ambassador for this recruiting class. But Kevin, man, thank you so much for making the time to come on, brother. We'll definitely have you on again soon, and hope you're staying safe down there, man.
Anytime, man. Go Canes. And ROMELLO Brinson's a Cane. I can't believe I'm saying this every 2 seconds. This is the greatest day of my life. Baby. This is the greatest day of my life. I'm so excited.
Thanks for coming on, Kevin. Go Canes, bro.
Go Canes, man.
Dude, I love Kevin. That was great.
I just love the optimism and the positivity that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, so check this out. I just did a little